Hi, this is Samith Pich from samithpich.com, and I'm with the lovely and inspirational Alicia Menkveld. So what we did today is I attended this great event called Big Think, Speak Free. So Alicia Menkveld was one of the keynote speakers at an event called Big Think Free, and we were talking about how to do the simple things in life to have a happier life.
Yes.
And you were one of the first speakers, and I personally think you were one of the best.
Thank
So,
you.
Alicia, I hear that you're very successful in your business. You're a successful lady who's empowering other women to lead a happier existence. So, tell me a bit about yourself and how you came to be where you are now.
We moved to Australia, my husband and I moved to Australia about 6 years ago. And it's been quite a bit of a journey because obviously when you move countries, it's completely new.
Where did you move from beforehand?
From South Africa.
Yes, lovely accent.
And you move to a new country and you don't have any support network. You have no friends, you have no family, you don't know anyone. And I came over with a brand new husband. We've only been married for a month.
Wow.
So it was really tough to obviously adjust. And sometimes we all go through tough times. And unfortunately I lost my job in the GFC. And so there were issues that we possibly couldn't even stay in the country. We also had to renew the apartment lease at the exact time when I lost my job, and I also had a bit of a health scare. So yes, but I believe it's all about your mindset and about it is all about your mindset, and it's also about the happiness that you look for inside instead of outside in outside things.
Yeah. So I remember at the beginning of your speech, you talked about how you were the eldest of your family.
Yes.
And you had this
Little overachiever.
overachiever syndrome. And I don't know if you might be an overachiever. I think I'm an overachiever as well. I think it's the eldest thing.
I think so.
You just have to go out there. And so you had these notions of what it meant to be happy. So you did. If I do this, I'll be happy.
Correct.
If I get married, I'll be happy. We all know how happy marriage is. Most of the time, it's happy.
Most of the time it is happy.
Okay, and then a career will make you happy.
Yes.
So I think it's a common theme and a common trap for most women. If you do this, we'll be happy.
Correct.
What did you find? Did doing those things make you happy?
I thought they were making me happy at the time, and I call it the when-then game.
When-then?
Yes. So when you have the house, or when you've lost the weight, or when I have confidence, then I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z in my life. And as the little overachiever, you would know, we set really high goals for ourselves, and we say, when I reach that goal, then I will be happy.
And then what happens to those goals when we reach them?
Well, the problem is the goalposts are changing.
Yeah.
Because we reach them and we are happy, maybe for a day, maybe even for a week.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, but what's next?
Yeah.
And then you set the goal and you just carry on. And what I've realized is that all these things were not making me happy.
Yeah.
And it was only after coming to Australia and having all these hardships that I had here that I've realized that happiness is actually an inside job.
Yeah.
We cannot look for happiness in things.
Yeah.
We need to look for it inside.
I loved when you said that happiness is an inside job. Throughout media and society, it's always like if you get this, you'll be happy. If you have to drive this car, you'll be happy. But the real truth of the matter is it starts here. So you then started to, as you were working for your life, you then came across a thing which you call the 6 quick seconds to a happier you.
Yep.
So tell us about that. It's a really amazing process that you go through.
It's just a 6-second routine, really. And the reason why I chose 6 is because 6 is one of my lucky numbers. However, I've also realized that in tarot, for instance, a 6 means that a 6 is the card of the lover, which means that it's all about relationships and connection with your heart and making good choices. And what I also didn't know was that 6, when I started doing some research on numerology, represents the ability to use your imagination as well as your intellectual ability to make better, more responsible choices. So it actually all fitted in together.
Awesome.
But in the 6 seconds, pretty much it boils down to number one, you have to take 2 deep breaths to center yourself.
Yeah.
Number 2, you need to figure out how do I feel in this moment, and how do I want to feel. That's the important part. How do I want to feel? Because we things happen to us during the day and in our lifetimes, and and sometimes we're not feeling happy. But how do I want to feel? I want to feel happy.
Yeah.
And then the last number 3 would be to take action. So now that I know that I want to feel happy, what can I do to feel happy?
I loved it when you were saying that whenever things go wrong, and things go wrong in our life, obviously, or we get frustrated, the first thing we do is we ask ourselves, why?
Why?
And usually it's, why me? Why has this happened to me? What have I done?
Why now?
Why now? Why could it happen tomorrow? I had more
Yes.
time for to this tomorrow.
Correct.
It's always why, and that's not a very empowering question.
No.
Is it? You never get a good answer from it. It might be, why am I fat? Well, because you're a pig and you eat too much. But whatever it could be. So why is never a good thing. But I love the fact that in your 6 seconds, you give us 3 things that people don't do enough these days. One is they don't breathe, take the time to breathe and center themselves.
Yes.
And then once you're in a centered place, rather than a reactive place,
Yep.
you can then make a better decision. In your second part, you're talking about how am I feeling right now. So then that's taking a moment to actually check in with yourself.
Yeah.
And then actually that says that scan, a lot of times we're not even thinking about how we're feeling.
Correct.
Yeah, we're just going off.
We're just on autopilot.
We're just on autopilot. So that takes away the autopilot, and we manually have to ask ourselves what we are. And I love that question, how would I like to feel?
Yes.
And it might be, I might want to be happy, or I might want to be inspired,
energized, open to learn something new. Could be anything.
Yeah. So when I was in this when I was in the speaking session, and you were the first one, I was going, oh, okay. A day's ahead of me. It's another day out of my business. I know I'm going to meet some amazing people. But your question helped me, 1, get centered, 2, ask myself how I was feeling, and I was a bit like angsty. Maybe I didn't have my morning coffee. Maybe. And thirdly is that how would I like to feel? And I realized I would actually like to feel inspired and inspired. And so thank you for that. So,
and then, sorry to interrupt, but what did you do to feel the way that you wanted to feel? Did you take notes, or did you listen more? Or?
Yeah, I really took notes. I really then decided that I would actually connect with each individual speaker afterwards, and just connect with them on a one-on-one basis, just to really get even more inspired, like I'm doing right now, having this interview with you now. And I said, I want to take the wisdom and then share it with other people who weren't able to be at this event.
Thank you.
And so how has the 6 seconds helped you and helped your clients, move forward with their life?
Essentially, the 6 seconds helped me to just stay more focused on my goals. I think it's important to have a vision and to know where you are on your way to, and where you want to be in 5 or 10 years time from now. And it's not just a cliche, but really know where and see yourself 5 to 10 years from now. And then to obviously chunk it down into daily goals. From there, the 6 seconds actually come in, because all of us get distracted all the time. Especially entrepreneurs with bright shiny objects syndrome. And I think the 6 seconds just help you to say, is this going to move me towards my goal, or is this going to move me away from my goal? And if you're moving consistently towards your goal and you consistently chip away at that tree, eventually it is going to fall.
And so now that you've got that, what am I talking about? You've got your goal. Okay, so when you were speaking, you then talked about the fact that this 6 second of reflection and then acting is just the start of the journey, right?
Absolutely.
Really, it's not like the magic pill, because there is no magic pill.
No,
but
unfortunately
not. Unless you work with Alicia, of course. But what are some of the processes after that 6 seconds?
Well, it would be consistently for me. It's setting an intention every morning about what I would want to achieve, really looking at what I have on my plate and on my program for the day and prioritizing tasks. And again, I would then focus on, normally I would focus on my top 3 tasks that I need to get done that day. And normally those 3 tasks are also related to my ultimate goal. And then from there, it's just trying to stay on track. And what I say a lot to people is that all of us fall off the wagon. And, you know, I get a phone call and I get distracted and then I think, oh, maybe I should be doing that. And then I realize I haven't even really checked in with myself for quite some time. So it's about having the big vision, but also doing the little tiny steps that will actually really get you there.
So Alicia, how often do you think we should check in on ourselves and do the 6-second thing? Once a day, once an hour, when we get frustrated, when should we be doing this?
I think as often as you need it, and for me, I'm doing it the moment I feel frustrated, unhappy, when things are pretty much not going my way. I try and check in with myself and just like, okay, so it's not about always just being happy, but it's about what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this? How can I see not only a weed, but a wish and an opportunity in every challenge?
I love it. I love it. So Alicia, thank you so much for spending some time with me, and thank you so much for inspiring people with something that's very simple but very profound if they really take it on board. So how can people find out more about you?
You can visit my website, which is www.aliciamenkveld.com.
There'll be a link somewhere down below.
And yes, and all my contact details will be on there. And you know, I have run workshops, I do coaching, I do obviously keynote speaking, so they can find out all about it there.
And at the moment you're doing something called 66 Days of Courage, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. It's a free challenge and it's called 66 Days of Courage. Don't worry, you're not going to get 66 emails.
I wouldn't mind getting 66 emails from you. But tell me about this 66 Days of Courage.
It's more about, I want to encourage people to try new things and to do things that they normally wouldn't do every day.
Like what?
Like 6 seconds.
6 seconds.
For instance. And so sometimes we are afraid to try new things, but we actually have no idea how it's going to impact our lives. So you will get an email every 3rd day for 66 days, and I will teach you a little technique like the 6-second routine. And then you have time to obviously implement it in your own life, and there's a Facebook group and you can comment in there and you can ask for advice, and we can all just uplift each other.
That's so much value. Like, geez, I know that your time is precious and people pay a lot for your time, but you're essentially, this 66 days of courage is free, and then they can just connect with the community as well.
Correct, and it's all simply just because I feel that more people need to be made aware of this, and it's my purpose in life to teach as many people as I can about the power of choice, and this is a perfect way for me to do it.
And that's the final thing. Your whole speech was about the power of choice. That at any moment in time we have the power to choose how we feel. We have the power to choose where we want to go, and that as long as we hold that sacred, we can stop reacting and we can start just blindly leading a life where we think it's happiness, but it's not. We can choose what happiness means to us.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. I know you're a busy woman. And so this has been Samith Pich from samithpich.com. Hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you choose some powerful, inspirational choices. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great room.
I feel like one of those very rich ladies, like a lady of leisure where I can just ring the bell and James, bring me a cocktail.